Good morning. It's Wednesday. Welcome to the special report with Chris Oldcorn and Colette Linden. Thank you, Casey Security, for your sponsorship. Just before we went live there, I said to Danny, Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday.
All day.
All day today, apparently. That's how it works, right? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm awesome. How was your day and night yesterday? How was your Tuesday?
My Tuesday was okay. Yeah.
Any big plans for this tonight? You're looking very chilled back and relaxed today.
Yeah, I know. I'm hoping for some warm weather.
Yeah. Ooh, I guess we'll find out. Danny's going to have that for us shortly.
Find out in a couple minutes about that.
Yeah. Well, we've got lots of stuff today. We got some. Trump was out and about yesterday. I think I heard something about him in the news yesterday.
Yeah, he's been in the news
I think everybody's
the last little bit.
Yeah, totally. Unfortunately, the
race
war
war continues. He's not been camera shy in the last 48 hours.
No, and apparently he's turned religious on us too. So we'll have to,
he's so religious. He's learned how to read the Bible upside down.
Upside down.
That is commitment. That is commitment. That's a long book to read upside down.
It certainly is.
We're referencing the picture, or the photo op he did in front of a church where he held the Bible up and it was upside down. So just for those of you that don't know what we're talking about.
Why? And I mean, there's tons of people around there who came down to Washington and went to the White House to protest and stuff, and it's been a busy few days, and out he walks with the Bible. Like, come on. Do you think
they had to clear the protesters out of the way for him to walk there too.
Oh, well, yeah, of course they did. Do you think his communications people, they know he's going to do this stuff, or does he just kind of pull that trick out of his hat? What do you think? I think being on his communications team would be one of the worst jobs.
Yeah. I mean, the speech he did the other day, on Monday, outside the White House, was the first time I've seen him actually stay on the prompter for the whole thing. Normally when Trump is talking, you can tell when he's going off the prompter because he's not looking in the direction where the prompters are, and then he just goes completely off script. That was the first time in his entire presidency he has not gone off script. Probably because he doesn't know what the heck to do.
You don't hear him say, "That's wonderful." So you just know that's
such a big, beautiful protest. So beautiful, so big, so magnificent. I make protests.
So many adjectives.
I make protests so much bigger than anybody else. My protests are the biggest.
Oh, well, I love this. Ontario has extended.
Good morning, Suzanne.
Yeah, we'll get back to that. Yeah. So Ontario has extended the declaration of emergency until June 30th. There's a lot of people upset about this in government as well, because they're thinking it's giving the province a little bit too much power to go ahead and extend these state of emergencies. However, it's his job to keep the people in this province safe. So if you want to go one way or the other, so you can never make everyone happy. I guess that's the point of that one.
If people would be more responsible, he wouldn't have to do it.
Well, for example, Chris, exclamation mark. How do I follow that up? Yeah, for sure.
Like that park in Toronto where no one social distanced, for example.
Correct.
Or the protests that people are protesting that they have to stay in their house and then they get together. Or they get together for Mother's Day, and then 2 weeks later we see a spike in cases. This is people being irresponsible and not acting like adults.
Yes.
If they acted like adults and were responsible, Ford wouldn't have to do this. This is kind of like your parents saying you're grounded because you're not doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. So I don't know. I know it said that it might be some closures, some additional closures on top of that.
Could be. Yeah, we see a spike in cases. I'll get to that.
So. Okay, you're going to get into that later. So the Ombudsman, the Ontario Ombudsman, is now looking into the investigation of long-term care homes and what has happened. Again, that goes back to the military who, well, not just that
they were
back to the military, just brought in because of that.
Staffing issues, yeah.
But they were brought in, and then what came about in the reports. It's not just that issue that they're looking into. It's, emergency preparedness and issues down the road. So the Ombudsman is on top of that. You know what else they're on top of?
They took over
federal government, I mean.
Oh, federal. Oh, I was going to say they just took over the nursing home in Kitchener yesterday too.
Did they?
Yeah. Another one is now under the Ontario government.
Oh, another part of the military has gone into.
I'm not sure what they're doing, but they've taken over the management of long-term care.
So that would be 5 or 6 now.
Yeah, that takes up to, that'll be the 7th.
There you go.
That it's being run so badly that the province actually has to come in and just take it over.
No, that's scary for your loved ones,
especially if you're in one of those 7.
So I know you love seeing me 5 days a week. that goes without saying. Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah, sorry. My mom does. My mom does. She was like yesterday, and she's like, "Where's Colette?"
Oh, I know. Colette had the day off yesterday.
Thanks for watching me, Mom.
Well, my mom thought you did well.
I know. Your mom loves me, so.
Excuse me. Anyway, don't throw me off. So 5 days a week, we know that Chris loves to hang out with Colette and work with her. But Canada's looking into the 4-day week seriously. They are seriously considering this and comparing it to the European models. Why not?
Well, I mean, you look at countries like Germany where they get 5 weeks of summer vacation.
That's the other thing. We have maybe one stat holiday a month that might work out to be.
Sweden's been doing it for a year and a half. It worked out so well. Their worker productivity actually went up. Their workers were more productive and the companies were happy.
Yeah, so Trudeau addressed it yesterday saying, you know, they're definitely going to look into it. Clearly, he's got he's got a couple more things on the to-do list this week, so, and perhaps next week as well. So they are not dropping it. They are bringing it up. He wants creative solutions brought to the table at the House Commons and when they meet, and I think that's fantastic. And I mean, don't worry, I can text you on that 5th day if you want.
Yeah.
It just won't be the same.
But even in Sweden, they found that 6 days were way down. People were much more healthier, so their healthcare costs were down because they have universal healthcare like we do here. There were so many benefits.
One day of commuting makes a difference.
Like just from the pollution standpoint, that's cars off the road. That's 20% less car pollution by taking the cars off the road for the Friday.
So would that be like a 10-hour day, 10-hour work day?
Sweden left it at 7.5.
Well, let's all move to Sweden, but first we do that. So, let's find out what the weather's going to be like today here in Sault Ste. Marie before we talk about Sweden. Hi, Danny.
Hey, Colette. Nice of you to come back. We missed you yesterday.
Thank you.
So going into the weather, I'm not sure if many of you were up at the break of dawn like I was this morning, but it was a little bit rainy, and heading into today, this morning is going to be a little bit of 16 with a mix of sun and clouds. Heading into the afternoon, it's going to be a high of 25 and sunny. This evening, a little overcast and will go down to 11. Overnight, there are going to be fog patches, so be prepared for that. Thursday morning, a mix of sun and clouds with a low of 12. In the afternoon, it'll be sunny with a high of 6. And heading into the evening, it's going to be partly cloudy, going back down to 16. And for all those people who are excited for camping on Friday, well, Friday's looking like it's going to be a high of 24, and it's going to be a low of 11. But there is going to be a chance of showers all day throughout the day on Friday. So they were saying about 30%, 60%, but it's going to, you know, we've been talking about we're getting this really big storm for the past few days now, and it's going to be interesting to see if we actually get it. So remember, Friday could rain, but let's be honest, I don't know half the time. So back to the desk.
Thanks, Danny. We've got a few more news stories coming up. We're going to have to hit a commercial break, but you know, there's a group out there called Anonymous. I don't know if you saw
Hacker group.
Yeah. So crazy. Watched that last night. I want to talk about that. We've got some local news that we want to come back to. Chris has got a ton of updates that we will get back to, and then after this commercial break.
See you in a moment.
Government of Ontario established a $100 million affordability fund to help Ontarians who don't qualify for low-income conservation programs ease the burden of their electricity bill. Whether you rent or own your home, as long as you pay your electric bill, you could qualify. There are 3 levels of support available. The first is a home energy kit with upgrades like smart power bars and LED light bulbs. The second includes Energy Star appliances that help keep things cool during the hot summer months. The third is for electrically heated homes so that your power bills don't break the bank during those long Canadian winters. Plus, all upgrades, including installation, are completely free of charge. Visit affordabilityfund.org or call 1-855-494-FUND to find out if you qualify.
Even though we can't always meet in person, we can still listen.
Even though schools are closed, help is still available in your community.
Even though you may be worried, services and supports are still here.
In stressful times like these, families need mental health supports more than ever.
We are here to make sure you can stay connected to your community and culture.
Nous savons qu'il peut être difficile de rester à la maison, mais vous n'êtes pas seul.
And we know asking for help for yourself and others can be hard.
But there are people in your community who are ready to support you.
No matter your age, gender, sexual identity, race, or culture.
No matter the day, time, or issue.
We're here to help.
welcome back. All right, time for our Facebook shoutouts. First,
what do we got today?
Yeah, one of the comments is not very positive. I'd like to say good morning to Jane.
How about you?
And then my girlfriend made a comment. She said, I like you too, Colette. So, honey, the suitcases are in the spare bedroom.
What do you mean? She gets you for an extra day a week now that if we go to a 4-day work week.
Yes, I don't know if she's going to like that.
Lucky you.
Yeah. So anyways, so the last few days on my show, there's been the interview with Donna Hilsinger. She is the counselor for Ward 3. And we're now going to see another clip from that interview. You can watch all of the interviews on Facebook video and also on YouTube as well. Here we go. What role does tourism play in our economic future in sort of the medium and long term, not like in the next few weeks?
It plays a tremendously important role. Tourism, as it stands, a COVID aside, supports many jobs in this community. And we are blessed by what Mother Nature gave us in terms of, being on the shores of the largest freshwater lake in the world, and having mountains in our midst, incredible outdoor activities, whether they're cycling or doing water sports, kayaking, canoeing, etc., skiing in the winter, both at Searchmont Resort and world-class Stokely Creek. These are things that with our new tourism planning, we are making investments in and growing and creating more reasons for people to come to Sault Ste. Marie. Certainly the Agua Canyon Tour Train is a big part of that. A new train station has been built. I don't know whether we'll get to use it this year or not, but certainly that's been built, and that's going to raise the experience there exponentially compared to what it has been in previous years. So there are so many reasons for people to come to Sault Ste. Marie and to have these experiences that you will not get to have anywhere else. You cannot go anywhere else in Canada where the Group of Seven painted in our area here in Algoma. 1917 or so through to 1922, they formed their style here in Sault Ste. Marie and Algoma. You can't. That's a unique experience that no other community in the country can share with a tourist. So we're making investments to highlight these unique opportunities for people and these unique experiences that they can have. And tourism is going to continue to grow here, I suspect, quite significantly over the next 5 to 10 years.
And that was part of my interview with Donna Hilsinger, counselor for Ward 3 here in Sault Ste. Marie. You can see the full video on YouTube and on Facebook video as well. Now, let's talk local hospital. They are now starting to reopen. They are entering what is called Phase 1. Okay, first off, if you have a procedure or a surgery, you will be contacted by either the hospital or the physician or surgeon doing the procedure. You do not need to call in to reschedule your appointments. And so this is how it's going to work. In Phase 1, there will be a focus on surgical and cardiac procedures and tests. They'll be operating at about 60% capacity, and all decisions regarding tests and surgeries are based on a priority basis. In other words, the most serious go first. If that goes well, what happens is the hospital has to actually report to the Ontario government every single week on how many cases are in and out, and if there's local COVID-19 cases, and then they can start to open up even more. If things go well, by mid to late July, they'll be up to about 75% of their normal capacity. So we're starting to get the most serious cases into the hospital now to be taken care of. That's a good thing. But if we see a spike in local cases, then the hospital will have to reduce its capacity. So please do your social distancing, wear the mask, wear the gloves, be responsible so the provincial government doesn't have to keep putting in emergency
guidelines and stop us.
To force you to actually do the intelligent thing.
Yeah, for sure, doing the intelligent thing. Well, just on the mask thing, I know there was a place in Montreal, municipality on the island of Montreal is boasting that it has become the first jurisdiction in Canada to make wearing a mask mandatory. So I thought that tied in well to your story there. But it's a Côte St. Luc Mayor Michelle Brownstein said that council passed that this week. So
That'll be interesting because it's probably not going to stand up in court.
Yes, so that's what I wanted to converse with you about. Is that
that will not stand up in court. Provincial and federal government already looked into it.
If you own a business, you can tell people to wear that. Make that protocol, and if you provide the masks for them at the door when they walk in. On
private property, if you're going into, for example, a retail store, they can't force you to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And we'll be right back after the break.
Welcome back. Thank you, Casey Security, for your sponsorship. So before the break, we were talking about masks and the importance of them, and how a municipality in Montreal, off the island there, has made it mandatory, or they're boasting that it's become the first jurisdiction in Canada to make wearing a mask mandatory. Okay, so we discussed this a long time ago. I don't know, we discussed it on the show, we've discussed it in the newsroom, we discussed it in text messaging. To make masks mandatory breaks a whole bunch of your own rights.
Yes.
Why don't you go into the legalities of that?
Both the provincial and federal governments looked at doing this. The issue is, let's say you go into a store, let's say you're going into a grocery store. And the grocery store says you don't have to wear a mask. The government cannot force you to wear a mask inside that store.
Right.
So it's kind of like similar to speeding in a parking lot where the police actually can't give you a ticket because it's not a public road. It would be like speeding in your front yard, depending on how big your yard is.
Jesus, I was going to say, Chris. Oh,
yeah. Well, I need that big house for my parents.
Oh, right.
It went 27,000 square feet. So you usually get a pretty big front yard with that. But no, the legality of it is it's not going to be enforceable. That will not stand up in court. Even in a pandemic and emergency acts, the government does not have the ability to actually force you to wear a mask.
Right.
They can strongly suggest it, which they have been doing, and even Trudeau got mad at people for not social distancing and not wearing masks and so on. But as far as them actually being able to enforce this, it's just that will not stand up in
Yeah,
court.
well, that
They'll be
just
thrown
goes
out
with the
within a couple
communications
days.
people. Government communications people are very careful on how we write things because they recommend for you to wear masks. So
they can't require.
They don't use those certain words for nothing.
But if you work in a hospital, they can require you to wear a mask because that's part of your job.
Well, that's part of the job.
But
that's
for you being out in the general public, they can't require it because it's not part of being a human being, basically.
Okay, well, we've got some, COVID-19 is always a nice heavy topic. You have some heavy topics. So Danny's going to throw in some entertainment in a little bit. Why don't you start updating everybody on all those papers you have there in front of you. I see the highlighter going crazy over there.
So, let's do COVID-19 cases in Ontario first.
All right.
Popped up again with cases at 446 new cases. However, 2 people between the ages of 20 and 39 were passed away from COVID-19. That takes a total of 10 people under the age of 40 who have passed away. Yes, in this province. And a farm complex had 164 cases yesterday, and a greenhouse near St. Catherine has at least 20 cases. They're still testing all the people at that greenhouse, so they're still waiting for results there. And we did about 15,000 tests in that 24-hour time period, so our testing numbers are up.
Good.
Tonight on my show, I'm going to be doing a whole segment on it, but I just want to touch on it. Yesterday, I showed a video of a reporter being attacked in New York City and prevented from doing their jobs. That is not an isolated incident.
What is going on with the media stuff lately?
Basically, the U.S. is saying China is suppressing the media in Hong Kong. Yeah. Meanwhile, Trump is suppressing the media in the U.S.
Well, yeah, this social media is order on social media. All this crap going on CSN.
People probably know this name, Susan Ormiston. She's a reporter with CBC, longtime political journalist. She was attacked by police and had rubber bullets shot at her. There is a where is it here? Oh, here we go. There's another journalist, she's a photographer, Linda Tirado. She got shot in the eye with a rubber bullet at a very close distance and lost her sight. Weirdly, her health insurance doesn't cover bullet shots to the eye, so she had to pay for it herself. That's American healthcare for you. Apparently that's not a covered procedure. And that's just some of the, I've got pages and pages of stuff here of attacks on reporters. I'll be dealing with that on my show tonight at 7.
That's crazy. It is
absolutely nuts. I mean, the U.S. is trying to suppress the press in a way that I can't even.
Aren't you glad you're here, not in Miami right now?
Yeah.
For sure. A couple of things that's been happening in this city. There's another motorcycle accident last night. The other one we know was on Second Line Road, way up on going towards the airport. But last night, around 10 to 6, officers with patrol services responded to a motor vehicle collision in the 600 block of Trunk Road. The initial investigation revealed a 55-year-old man was traveling eastbound on a motorcycle when a gray sedan driven by an 85-year-old woman pulled onto Trunk Road and into the path of the motorcycle. The driver of the motorcycle was taken to the hospital with major injuries, clearly. Now, this is the second incident, and also the second incident in whereby it was not the operator of the motorcycle's fault. We need to pay attention to the motorcycles on the road as the weather gets warmer, but we will have more information and everything COVID and politics coming right up after this commercial break.
What's life without making a few mistakes down the road? A few sharp turns. And doing things for what we adore, but might regret later. A trip to Chuck's Roadhouse isn't one of them. With melt-in-your-mouth AAA steaks, buttery lobster tail, half-priced apps after 9 p.m., an ice-cold draft with all your Roadhouse favorites. Chuck's Roadhouse. Food the way it ought to be, priced the way it used to.
A message from the Government of Canada.
In your home, lighting is just as important as style.
With PowerView Motorization from Hunter Douglas, you can schedule your shades to light up the room. Create privacy, or both, automatically. No hands required.
So your shades will always be in the right place, at the right time, in style. And it's only from Hunter Douglas.
Welcome back. You are with Chris, Danny, and Colette on this fine Wednesday, June the 3rd. Thank you to Casey Security for your security and for your sponsorship. Anyway, there's a lot.
They do our security for the building here, so
they do. Yeah. So I meant to say that. Thank you, Chris. So I was introduced to the Tiger King through Danny, and I still haven't watched
the Netflix thing, right?
Yeah, the Netflix. I still haven't watched it. I know Nicolas Cage is planning on playing the role, but I'm going to throw to Danny for some entertainment and a little hashtagging this together SSM video as well.
Thank you, Colette. So as many people know, if you are in the Tiger King and paying attention to what's going on, Joe Exotic is behind bars for the next 22 years because his plot to kill Carol Baskin, and that all came out. But exciting news too, apparently Carol Baskin will be getting the zoo because Jeff Lowe is actually told to come off the premise, and he has 120 days to do that. But one thing with Carol Baskin and her whole big cat rescue and all that going on, at the beginning of May, she was actually tricked into doing a YouTube interview with 2 YouTube stars, and they pretended to be on the Jimmy Fallon show, which got her onto the YouTube segment in the first place. So she's so easily tricked by everyone out there that she's just la 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 in her own little world. So now she's going to be getting Joe's zoo. So that's going to be very interesting to see what happens and what she does with her big cat rescue. But in one YouTube video, I had the chance of interviewing Hello Cannabis, Lisa and Leanne, store manager and owner. So here's a little quick snippet of that video and just how their staff stand above everyone else. So here we are.
As long as the focus is what we feel behind our brand as far as community awareness and community education, that is the one component that every community that has any type of legal dispensary needs to have with the customers that come in. I think that what sets Hello Cannabis apart is our team has such a diverse background on not only knowledge in the cannabis industry. I almost want to say that they're little mini scientists back there. I come from the healthcare field, so a lot of times when there is maybe an older customer or a customer that has some health issues, even though we're not a health dispensary or a medical dispensary, the education that goes into every customer when they cross that threshold and come in is truly that one-on-one. Whether it's just that young person that may want to have a nice cerebral high, or you've got that 80-year-old woman that truly has some issues and is interested in exploring but not quite sure what the questions are. So that is what I believe sets Hello Cannabis apart, and hopefully the other competitors will be able to offer a similar service to Sault Ste. Marie and the areas beyond, because that is just first and foremost.
And I believe with the customer experience that we've already embraced in our customers, that they're going to continue to come back because of the great customer service and the knowledge behind
the other stuff today.
Welcome back. We're giggling because we were just talking about that on one day about how when I went from 0 to 3 stores, and then Chris and I moved to, or 0 stores, Chris and I moved to the Sioux. They now have 3, and your amazing name for your store is
High as a Kite.
High as a Kite. I love it.
Yeah, I think we should open the 4th store. High as a Kite.
High as a Kite.
Sault Ste. Marie.
What do we have for later today?
Yeah, we have a special report at 1 p.m. Yeah, Colette's on at 5 for the evening news. You can watch my show at 7 p.m. tonight as well. We'll see you at 1 o'clock. Have a good morning.